map is Whirlwind, of course, presented by SK Planet. Spawning up in the top left-hand position from Kessler teammate, and one of the newcomers really to Pro League this season, it's teammates Cure.
His opponent, a seasoned veteran from WOONGJIN Stars. His name is SoulKey, spawning as a red Zerg on the top right position of Whirlwind.
SoulKey may be a seasoned veteran, but he actually still is pretty young in age as well, so that just goes to show you that he really had a fast rise to stardom. I believe, how did he do when he first debuted? I remember something that he got like an all-kill or something?
There was some, he was winning a few matches, losing a few matches, in the qualifiers and maybe once or twice in Pro League. But the huge splash was when he actually all-killed an STX Masters Cup.
Ah, okay. So basically, when you're a rookie and essentially do that, you'd start to turn some heads.
Oh yeah, and the team started fielding SoulKey a lot more after that special tournament, and he just became one of the best players for WOONGJIN Stars, carrying over from Brood War to Starcraft2.
I remember that WOONGJIN Stars, they had a good cast of Zerg players like GG Play and Zero.
It goes back to the Hampus Stars days.
Yeah, exactly.
Hampus Stars. He also has some great cheesers in CVZ.
Quanro, I know you're talking about him. He like switched around the CJ and SK Telecom before eventually retiring, actually.
Oh yeah. I mean, he did make it to the finals, so.
Yeah, he did make it to the finals. He was a good
Gotta
player.
give him credit.
Yeah, gotta give him credit for that. So, looks like SoulKey opening up, SoulKey with a hatchery first build. Cure going for the command center first, so I already like where both of these players are heading with this game. They want to immediately go into a macro style, and of course, the map's Whirlwind, man. It's pretty big. It's hard to all in, So, I don't think we'll see anything like the match Jadon versus Flash yesterday, where Jadon went for that humongous Baneling bust. And the Ling all-in, essentially.
Well, that was really timed well, and that wasn't earlier in the game. It was like he took an expansion, and then he got tons of Zerglings on and went for the timing when Flash was landing his third command center, completely catching him off guard. He could still do that. SoulKey could still do that here. Yes, the map is larger, but once you get into 6 minutes and try to cheese around 6 minutes, the map, the size of the map doesn't really come into play anymore.
Yeah. Of course, using the Zergling speed, those things can just skitter across the entire map terrain, no problem, man.
I mean, we've even seen the Hydra trying to do a lot of damage yesterday with tons of Banelings trying to go for Reality's natural.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like SoulKey decided to pick up his gas as well, getting that spawning pool up, so he'll be able to get that Zergling speed very fast here. Command center almost finished for Kier, and getting his both of his orbitals now as well. So basically, very standard. If you go to the CC first, you get the orbitals around the same time your Marines come out. Very standard, normal stuff here.
So it really depends on how Cure decides to play out the game. Is he going to go the most greedy Terran style, where he gets up a third command center quickly in the game, or does he actually play from 2 base? For now, he's going to take a factory. No reactor just yet because the command center was over there, and now he's going to land and build a reactor as soon as he has enough gas.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about the positions as far as drop play go for these guys on this map?
First of all, SoulKey has to expand towards the 3 o'clock position because of that dead airspace between the possible third and the main. So Terran players can just leap in and out of the main base while also dropping at the third base at the same time because of the dead airspace. And SoulKey also needs to make sure that he has some Overlord at the left side of his main base to make sure that the medevac drop doesn't get spotted. And
look at this, we have a third command center on the way for Kier here. I love when Terran players do this against Zerg, really just, taking advantage of the ability that you can build a command center in your main base and then simply lift it off later on. Just doing things like this, it's going to allow you to really keep up in the economic game. And look at this, Kier building a bunker inside his main base. It looks like he wants to be extra careful just in case SoulKey goes for any type of aggressive play early on.
Yeah, he'll probably salvage it after knowing that SoulKey doesn't have that much army out on the map.
Yep, and like you said, SoulKey getting that third hatchery there, and it looks like we have a little bit of link harass here. One SCV going down, just a little cute move there by SoulKey. He doesn't even lose either of the Zerglings as well.
There was Starport follow-up by Cure, and seems like with the tech left, he wants to go into Banshee tech and try to harass his opponent a little. But look at this SoulKey barely scouting the command center with the Overlord.
Yeah, I like that, actually. He's not going to reveal to Cure that he knows about the third command center, but SoulKey has that information here, and we do have the Starport going onto that tech lab here, so I guess the real question is, will we see those Banshees? It looks like, yes, like you said, the Banshees will be coming out here. And Kier is also continuing his Hellion production as well, so looks like he wants to do a bit of aggression.
So here's the question, SoulKey, after seeing the third base, what is the response going to be? Is it going to be some kind of bust, or is he going to play a little more economical than his opponent?
Oh, hold that thought, though. We have some Zerglings here, but there's too many Hellions. The Zerglings will maybe be able to get his SCV or two, but in the end, they're going to get cleaned out by those Hellions. But still, SoulKey being, I feel, very cost-efficient with these Zerglings. He's already killed off, I think, at least 3 SCVs for just, a handful of Zerglings. And he knows everything about his opponent, what he's doing, what he's planning, except for the Banshees, and I don't see any type of Spore Crawlers out just yet, but we don't have any Cloak on the way either.
Yeah, that's the biggest point. It's like, if the Cloak is on the way, you need the Spore, you need Overseer. If not, then tons of drones are going to get taken out. So it's a good news for SoulKey that Cure did not actually commit heavily, and we have 2 armories, so it seems like he actually wants to transition into mech play.
That would be really interesting, considering how mech play did not pan out that well for Sky High the last time he tried to play against a Zerg player. Not SoulKey, but a recent game. Look at this, we actually have some good Hellion harass here, sniping off a few drones, and we also have a Banshee added into this army composition here. And is he going to go for that third base? There's only 1 Spine Crawler there, but it looks like it will prevent those Banshees from doing too much here. And we also have a scan going down there. Looks like SoulKey, or sorry, Kier, he wants to clear off a lot of that creep, but now we have the Zerglings moving in here against those Hellions, trying to get a good surround here. A lot of them do get surrounded, but the Zerglings are getting a good amount of hits in here. Almost gets a surround there, but Kier barely survives with some of his Hellions. I'd have to say, a pretty even overall trade for them.
It does hurt Kier in the long run, however, because he's a player going for the mech. The Zerglings are really more being cost efficient against the Hellions, and Kier's in a position where he needs to save as many units as possible. Losing those Hellions here and there, it's okay right now. It's a pretty effective trade if you look at it right now, but later down in the long run, it might actually hurt him if he doesn't have enough units when his opponent gets massive amount of roaches out.
We do see SoulKey building that Roach Horn, so I think he has an idea that Kier plans on going for mech here. And I'm just curious because Sky High, it felt like his build, he went mech because he opened up with the cheesy blue flame opening, and it didn't really work out for him. So maybe, Kier is going to try a variant of mech or something very specific here. We do have the Overseer scouting it out, and also we have a drop in the main base. There's actually no units here ready for the defend. Okay, never mind. The Zerglings are there, but those Hellions will be able to do a good amount of damage, and also the medevac is there to help essentially micro and prevent any type of surrounds. 5 Mutalisks on the way as well. We have Roach Speed on the way, so it looks like SoulKey is aware of this mech composition here. He did get a good scout with the Overlord, and we see a 4th Command Center on the way. 2 Thors in production as well. That 1-1 getting very close to completion here. And nice, we have an Infestation Pit. And actually, a little bit of a mistake by SoulKey there. He completely missed the medevac there. I think he may go back and try the kill it off there. There we go. Here, he's going to realize this and have to boost out of there. Uh-oh, is he not going to boost out?
He wasn't paying attention to that screen at all. He didn't even select the medevac.
Yeah, that was a little bit uncharacteristic of Kier, I feel, because I know he has great multitasking, so...
Well, he is playing a mech style, something that we've never seen from. If you look at his playstyle from Wings of Liberty and his amazing multitasking, you would expect him to go bio every single time. Yeah, that's exactly what I would expect here, so that's very confusing that he's actually going to go for the mech this time around. But it looks like we're having a little bit of lag here, but basically what's been going on in this game so far, SoulKey and Kier, they both opened up with very economic builds. Kier went for that fast 3rd CC, got some Hellions out, did a little bit of harassment, not really too much. SoulKey did a little bit of his own with some Zerglings, and the Banshee as well was added into the mix with those Hellions. Kier just wanted to kind of prevent this creep from spreading a little bit too fast, but now Kier, he's going for the mech composition, which is something that we haven't expected or seen recently. He was actually adding in the doors before getting the tanks out because he knows when the muta timing is going to come out. So that's why he was adding a few doors. His opponent, SoulKey, was actually getting the roaches out. He was going for the Hydra upgrades also at the same time, +1 attack, and he was trying to get to that unit composition where he hits 200-200 before Cure sits comfortably on 4 base and has a really strong mech army. Now behind this, he was also getting an Infestation Pit, and I expect them to go Vipers pretty soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some Swarm hosts, some Vipers, maybe Roach, Hydra, Swarm host. That's a very good unit composition. But the reason why we don't see more of it from Zergs is that it's simply very weak to drop play because it's less mobile than like the Mutiling Baneling style.
And it's also a little situational. You need
yeah, exactly. It is situational. So looks like having some technical difficulties here, guys. Sorry about that. Well, I guess while we have some downtime, we can do some Twitter plugs. I am at Whiplash if you guys want to follow me.
And I'm at Supernova Maniac, but my cell phone is out of battery, so if you guys have any questions, tweet at Whiplash over here, and then we'll try to answer as many questions as possible before we go back into the game. And yes, I do answer questions that is not on that does not get answered on the stream once I get home.
Yeah, guys, definitely just feel free to tweet at me, guys, and I can do any question answering. Let's see here. Arb asked, he asked me earlier, has Jadong and Flash played yet? And I'm like, they played yesterday, dude. And he was like, was it good and worth the watch? And I'd have to say, yeah, it was a pretty good match. I mean, it wasn't long, but it was very action-packed.
Well, watching all those Brood War games and watching Starcraft2, I would say it was a regular Jadong versus Flash game.
It's a regular Jadong versus Flash game. But once again, guys, in case you don't know, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. We don't know exactly what's going on. We didn't even see the lag or the latency screen pop up. The game just kind of froze almost in a way. So maybe one of the players did end up crashing out or something. But luckily, we do have the resume from replay, or I guess take command, whatever you guys want to call it.
No, resume from replay because take command actually shows what your opponent does.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to go through the replay.
Oh, that's right. Yep. So yeah, they're going to do resume from replay. Last time there was an issue like this. They did do the resume from replay feature, and the players' mentalities, you could tell, were actually pretty shaken. Like it was Flash versus Reality actually on one of the maps. They were both TvT, of course, Bio versus Mech, and you could tell Flash was a little bit shaken after the resume from replay.
Well, you can't be happy if a game pauses in the middle of the game, especially after you are actually on a momentum actually playing the game. So. Yeah. You don't want to be in that situation as a player, but if you're thrown into the situation, resume from the replay, it's the best option you could go for.
Yeah, it's much better than having the restart a game from the beginning. It does kind of throw you a little bit offbeat, but you know, better than not having the game at all. So
that is completely true.
Yeah. So guys, we still don't know what's going on. We'll try to keep you guys updated. There's, of course, Major from Team 8, one of the only foreigners out here right now. There's a few others. I know Scarlet's out here training with the Axiom Acer team house, and Nannywall also out here as well, training in the EGTL house. And there's, of course, Bravo and Flying. Bravo on the right, Flying on the left, for those of you guys who don't know. And let's see, True.
And Terminator.
True. Terminator on the right. In the middle is that Album?
I'm going to guess that Savage.
Oh, yeah, Savage, that's it. I knew it was a Zerg player. I was like, which Zerg is it, though? They all have, like, the same hairstyle, man. It's getting confusing.
Welcome to Korea.
Yeah. A lot of people having the same hairstyles.
Well, they try to keep up with the trend because, you know, they don't want to look too special out there, except for, you know, some underground scenes out here. Yeah. So they just try to keep it, you know, simple as possible and try to look as, like, you know, everyone else out here.
Oh, I did actually get a question here from @DialogueSC. Yeah, Whiplash, how did you get into casting?
We actually have that almost prepared right now. All I need to do is finish a few more translations, and we're gonna have the video up.
Cool. Well, I can give them a little TLDR. Back in around 2011, I was a player. You know, I was like, I guess like a amateur, semi-pro, pro-ish level, somewhere in between there, and. I remember I got asked to do some casting with Orb for the ICUP.
IC Cup.
Yeah, I think IC Cup. ESF, the Korean weekly tournaments. And I remember doing some of those with Orb, and you know, just for fun. You know, I never had any aspirations or anything. I was enjoying it though. It was pretty cool.
It actually started out as IC Cup and then turned to ESV, right?
Exactly, that's right. It did switch. And then a little bit after that, I didn't really cast for a long time, and I actually stopped playing StarCraft for a while. I was focusing on college. And then I remember the CSL finals, Collegiate Star League, were at my university, and S&M was there, Supernova Maniac, and we kind of knew each other online as well, but we caught up, we talked and stuff. He does some really cool magic tricks and impressed me. This guy is like he's sick good at magic tricks, by the way, just letting you all know. All right, cool. Well, looks like we're going to have to save the rest of that story for another time because it looks like the game didn't even crash or anything.
I guess there was a huge lag, and then they just paused the game and they solved the issue right away.
Well, cool.
So
Glad to see that the game doesn't need to be resumed from replay or anything like that.
right away, the story is going to, it's going to get posted pretty soon on YouTube, and we have SoulKey trying to go for the planetary fortress, but it's not going to work out.
Yeah, we have a little bit of Muta harass here. I like that SoulKey, he invested into some Mutalists, but he didn't overcommit on them. He's getting just enough. The Forest Cure that maybe get some turrets around the map and play defensive against Saber. Look at this nice Thor placement. They're going to keep those Mutas kind of away for now. And Cure, at this point, he's going to have a lot of bank for minerals, but not a lot for gas because Mech, of course, very gas intensive. So he's going to be able to put extra command centers around the map and essentially, start to use lots of mules and planetary fortresses to help defend his base.
But I also love that SoulKey is taking 2 extra expansions around the map because the map is so huge and Mech is slow.
Yes.
So it's hard to harass multiple bases at once. You need to get the medevac and the Hollians to harass around the opponent. Now, behind the SoulKey is getting a Viper, which is crucial against dealing with the siege tanks.
Yeah, nice Ling roasting there from those Hellions, doing a great job cutting actually here. A Blue Flame just completing, but of course Roaches, they are not light units, so it won't do any additional damage to them. And like you said, the Vipers are out and on the way here. I'm so excited to actually see the Vipers in action against the Terran that's trying the Mech here. I want to see if Cure can properly deal with this unit composition or has figured out some type of solution. And also another humongous thing to know, no Widow Mines.
That is quite true. Widow Mines were actually made it into hardwood swarm so that the Terran players can get to Mech a little bit easier. And it just seems like Cure, he's like, well, I'm not going to go for Widow Mines, I'm just going to go for mass siege tanks, a few Hellions here and there with the Blue Flame, and doors against the Mutas, and getting additional 2 starports for the Ravens.
Yeah, look at this. The starports are out and on the way here. If we see an eventual transition into some like mass Raven kind of build, I could definitely see this working. But I guess the real trick is, how do you prevent the Zerg from getting too out of control with their creep spread and base count? And how do you prevent them from killing you early on?
It's really hard to do so because you're playing Mech, and you have to stay inside the main base. You have to get up to 4 bases at minimum at this point, and you just can't move around the map. The best thing you could do is use a Hellions to deny creep spread with scans and possibly go for a drop inside the main base. But Zerg already has complete map control, so he's just sitting on comfortable 5 to 6 bases while constantly making units.
All right, guys, here we go. By the way, the Viper ability, the Blinding Cloud, actually reduces the range of the Planetary Fortress as well. So keep that in mind, guys. Look at that Planetary Fortress, only attacking units that get in melee range here. Cure, now probably realizing that, is thinking, shoot, that sucks. Vipers kind of counter planetary fortresses.
And
very unfortunate.
He also used a Blinding Cloud on the siege tanks, which actually reduced the damage a lot. That allows SoulKey to snipe the unit, snipe the planetary fortress. And behind this, all he has to do is remake the units while going for higher tech army. Look at this, we already have Greater Spire on the way. I already saw Ultra's Cavern finishing up for SoulKey, so he has everything that a Zerg player could ask for.
He's got everything, man. He has 5 bases right now, and they're all mining gas. So SoulKey already building up a considerable bank here, and we do have our Terran player pretty much maxed out on Mech, though, so I think he may be going for a move here. And this Planetary Fortress, it does go down very fast here. A few of those Hydras getting roasted, but really, it wasn't an efficient trade for SoulKey there, just preventing Cure from really getting too much of an economy. But the 2-2 has completed, and once again, SoulKey harassing that expansion and base over there.
Now SoulKey also needs to be careful because he's doing an amazing job denying these expansions, but he needs to make sure he doesn't throw away too many units at a time because he's trying to buy enough time to get the Ultras out, but the Ultras, they're so slow at coming out on the map, so he needs to buy enough time but also not throw away too much army. If not, then Cure can actually go for the counterattack and win the game easily.
Well, look at this. We have, nice grabs with the Viper, but unfortunately for SoulKey here, this Terran army is very strong and durable at this point. And now the real question is Cure going to go for a big attack here? He needs to do some critical damage before these Ultras come out because there are a lot of Zerglings on the way, a lot of Ultras on the way, 5 in production right now. and I already know that there are a few out on the battlefield, but so far Cure, he is starting to take a very good position in the middle of this map here.
Cure's completely getting the Vikings against the greatest fire units such as Corruptors or even the Brood Lords, and he's just prepared against everything, maybe except the number of Ultras, because he doesn't know how many Ultras are coming out on the map. But the Zerglings, you could use the Blue Flame Hellions to counter it. The Siege Tanks, if they're placed perfectly, then the Ultras, they take tons of damage before actually engaging, and SoulKey, he cannot touch his main army right now.
Yeah, those Blue Flame Hellions are doing so much damage to the Zergling count right now, basically making them useless. And now, SoulKey, he's moving in here. Does he have enough Ultralists to deal with this Terran army? No, that's the real issue. There are so many tanks here, and they're absolutely shredding apart those Ultras. Look at all of them just get absolutely annihilated here. And unfortunately for SoulKey, he has to really focus on defending now. His bank, it's still large, but he did lose a lot there from that tank-based army.
If he can just defend one more time, then Cure's not going to have enough reinforcements to make this attack work. But look at this, Cure, knowing that the Zerglings are coming out as a reinforcement, he's not going to siege up. He's even going to land the Vikings for the extra DPS, and it's just eating away on all these units.
Well, it looks like Cure may actually be able to make this work here now. Don't forget that SoulKey has a lot of extra bases.
And we have 9 Ultras out on the way. And his Cure's reinforcement, he made a lot more siege tanks than the Hellions, the supporting units. So if these number of siege tanks get taken out, then you can still can't guarantee a win for Cure, because the power of the mech army is the number of siege tanks.
Yeah, and of course this mech army has been greatly diminished here. There's still a good amount of tanks. But look at that excellent blinding cloud on a lot of those tanks. That's going to allow Cure to eat away even more at this army here. And with these reinforcements, I think that Cure, his main army here, is going to be destroyed. Cure did do some good damage here, economic damage. He killed off that hatchery. SoulKey has no bank anymore, as opposed to having almost 3,000 minerals and 2,000 gas.
But even if he doesn't have the bank, look at the supply difference, 182 to 109. So Cure, yes, he did deal some damage. He took out the natural base, but like I said, once the first mech army gets taken out, it's hard to remax out.
It definitely is. And look at this, the Ultralist count, very impressive right now, and more are still on the way from SoulKey here. The Planetary Fortress is just going to get completely taken down there. And now, Cure, what does he have against these units here? He was able to kill a few more of the Ultras there, but the problem is, look at the reinforcement Ultras and Zerglings here. Cure is going to be backed into a corner. He's down to 3 bases, as opposed to the 4 of SoulKey.
This is just like a situation where Cure, he did a nice job trying to engage into his opponent's main base and try to get those Ultras out of position and wipe them out completely. But SoulKey had enough time, enough bases to get extra Ultras out, and now Cure doesn't have economy to get the tanks out. He's trying to secure a 4th base once again, but it is going to be too late. And Cure, what does he have? He only has 1 of 5 supply. He has 4 siege tanks coming out, but that's nothing against the Ultras and the Zerglings. Even 5 additional Vipers for SoulKey.
And I guess the one advantage that Cure has here is that his SCV count is actually very low, so, you know, his overall army will be a little bit closer to the size of SoulKey's, and I think that's, like, actually the majority of his units there. But now the Ultras, they're moving in to that 3rd base expansion area. Where are SoulKey's units? They're moving in now. Hellions getting ready to kill off those Zerglings there, but that Planetary just gets completely destroyed by those Ultras. They do so much DPS against Terran.
Cure just slowly trying to remax out with the siege tanks and the Hellion, but look at this. SoulKey, he was already maxed out. A few Zerglings are taken out, so that's why he's at 194 supply, but he also denies the 4th base once again. And Cure, even if he has less SCBs, he needs to start mining from these extra bases. If not, he can't match the production of our Zerg player.
So yeah, SoulKey beginning to build up a bank once again here. He's at over 1K for his resources. Pretty much maxed out 10 Ultras, 13 Hydras. He's got 5 Vipers in his army as well. So pretty much siege tanks are going to be useless against this army.
Definitely. And I really think all SoulKey has to do is go for an attack and make sure that the siege tanks are out of position, and then just win the game.
Yeah. Also, a bit curious that we didn't see any Widow Mine play from Cure as well. Would have loved to see a little bit more of those in this army composition. But, you know, this is very Brood War style, or sorry, not Brood War, Wings of Liberty style mech play here from Cure. And the problem is, in Heart of the Swarm, the Ultras got buffed. There's Vipers added into the army mix, and it makes it so much harder for that mech army to really be truly effective.
Oh yeah, the Blinding Cloud and the Abduct on the siege tanks actually makes it really useless to go to mech, and that's the reason why players decide to go into bio. And here we go, he's going to attack into the smoke choke, but it doesn't matter because he has so many Ultras.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if this army is cost efficient or not from SoulKey here. He just has so much units, he's going to be able to easily roll over this army composition here. Look at that, blinding clouds on all of those siege tanks there. Those ultras aren't going to take any damage with support from the Hydras from behind. That's just going to be it for our teammate player there. Look at there, dancing with his ultras. SoulKey knows that he is defeated here, and just, telling him, hey man, look at that dancing. There it is, GG. The first game going to WOONGJIN Stars is SoulKey, and winning in a very convincing manner against Mech, showing that unit composition, it can be very strong, but the Zerg player left unchecked without constantly dropping them, without a very mobile force, without using those Widow Mines or a bio in addition to the siege tank, just things don't really work out.
And also going Mech on this map itself, it's just questionable because once the Zerg player finds out that there's a mech happening, Zerg player, like we saw from SoulKey, can expand to 4th and 5th bases easily, even take a 6th base, and Terran really cannot touch it unless they're really active out on the map with the medevacs and the drops. So this strategy might have worked out better on maps like Neoplanet S, maps that are
Cloud Kingdom,
or even Cloud Kingdom,
one.
Smaller maps.
Yeah, exactly.
With tighter chokes.
Yep. All right, guys, so the score currently 1-0. WOONGJIN Stars in the lead here. The next match is going to be Argo versus Zero. That's going to be very, very exciting, guys. Don't miss that. And don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this commercial break.